Schweikert is recognized for 60 minutes as a designee of the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Give me a couple seconds here as I sort of semi-organize this mess. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to try to just do a couple very simple things here. I want to walk through that I actually believe there's actual solutions. The problem is they're hard. And it's one of those occasions where I think we play this game, we talk around each other because we talk our book. We talk what gets us elected. We talk what raises us money. We talk what enrages our base so they're more politically involved. The fact of the matter is a substantial amount of that is just a bold-faced lie. And for anyone that's really interested just in sort of the academics of what goes on here, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you have your search engine, look up AI review of congressional speeches. There's an academic group, so this isn't like Nature, so it's a peer-reviewed article, going back 140 years of congressional speeches, and basically says the use of facts has absolutely crashed. If you actually read it, it's crashed. We now talk about our feelings and intuition because that's how we manipulate people. And look, it's in Nature publication right now. Go pull up the academic article. And that's what goes on behind these microphones day after day after day, is we have people that tell stories. We tell about our feelings. But we don't seem to actually bother doing something called math. And the family slogan is, the math will always eventually win. So I'm going to do this a couple times here. You know, we're in the middle of the reconciliation, budgets, battles, the propaganda, the things that get said that are true or not true. My argument for everyone here is there's a way to pay for lots of this. It still doesn't save us. As a country, we borrow about $6 billion a day right now. Next year, we're going to borrow about $7 billion. I'm going to show you some charts. In 9 budget years, we're borrowing about $10 billion a day. And the vast majority of that is demographics. Turns out it's not Republican, it's not Democrat. And one of the great lies here, and I've done entire presentations here, I took like a whole hour a while back, where I did every tax hike that the left has proposed in the scores and its economic factors. And actually, we did a bunch of the cuts in spending and those things, Republicans. All those tax hikes came out to about 1.5% of GDP. Excuse me, these tax hikes came out to about 1.5% of GDP. Our cuts came out to about 1% of GDP. Big 2.5%. Looks like we're going to borrow 7.3% of the economy this year, and in 9 budget years, Moody's says, I'm going to show this board a couple times, we'll be borrowing 9% of GDP. Now, I'm sorry, most people, you know, David, we don't know what GDP, what do you mean by that? Just understand the scale is so often the solutions are meant to hit you with a dopamine hit. They're meant to manipulate you. And when I say you, I mean the voting public, often our staff trying to even manipulate each other. But we have spreadsheet after spreadsheet after spreadsheet around us talking about what's going on. So my point I'm going to come back to, Mr. Speaker, I've introduced legislation to fix what MedPAC has talked about now for years. Back when the Democrats controlled all this place, now that the Republicans control this, but we're all too scared to actually read something. It's in a big binder that actually has math in it that would be hard and difficult because, let's be honest, it's really hard putting a couple hundred pages of facts and details in a tweet. But the fact of the matter, MedPAC and the Wall Street Journal series and the ProPublica series have gone over Medicare Advantage. And if any of you have your phone and you like tracking, stories, put in Medicare Advantage fraud right now. You'll see at least 5 major articles from the Wall Street Journal, ProPublica, and some of the others. In some of those articles, if you actually add up, it's $100+ billion a year in fraud. So we've introduced a piece of legislation. The preliminary number is around $1.7 trillion to $1.840 trillion. Excuse me, trillion dollars. Sorry, what am I? $1.840 trillion, making it the single biggest reduction bill, I believe, in modern history. Actually, in history at all. Okay, so I just got you 1.8. We've also introduced a talent-based immigration bill. Well, if you want to hit the GDP growth numbers that we keep talking about, the left has even talked about, the president's talked about, you can't do it without a talent-based immigration system. It's just read the literature. As even the president has said, it's insane. We educate people and then we send them home to compete with us. Are we out of our minds? Do a talent-based immigration, keep people. And I'm going to show you another chart in a moment that's saying, look, we have to deal with a reality. If the primary driver of debt in America is demographics, it's functionally Medicare, in a few years, Social Security when the trust fund's gone, and interest. If you go back 20 years ago, the number of 18-year-olds we had then compared to the number of 18-year-olds today, it's almost identical. The number of our brothers and sisters who are 65 and up has almost doubled in that 20 years. Are we allowed to tell the truth about our brothers and sisters that, those of us who are baby boomers with gray hair, they have changed the math in our country? When I was a kid in the 70s, for every dollar that was spent on people 65 and up, there were $7 spent on young people. Today, that's reversed. Today, we spend $1 on young people and $7 on those over 65. It's the deal. It's part of our societal commitment. Fine, keep our promises. But the way you keep your promises is you know your math, because at some point you got to finance it. And then the third bill, so Medicare Advantage, Part C, deal with the waste and fraud issue from the insurance companies managing it. Make it so the incentive is to help our brothers and sisters be healthier, instead of making billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars scoring people as sicker. Just read the articles. And turns out, I think this bill, the Democrats would like, the Republicans would like, and people that do math will really like. The talent-based immigration, great for long-run economic growth. It actually fulfills even things the president talked about in the campaign trail. And the third one is functionally our bill that I've done for years and years around here. It's called the Forgotten Funds Bill. Now, in some ways, I got to be honest, this isn't new money. It's cash we have borrowed and we've given to agencies, but they haven't either been authorized or they haven't spent it. Mr. Speaker, off the top of your head, will you raise your eyebrows a little bit? We call this SF 133. So it's money, it's been appropriated, it's sitting in their account, so it's cash. We're paying interest on it because that money was borrowed. We estimate that it's over $1.5 trillion, $1.5 trillion. If you grab that cash and realize you don't have to pay interest on it anymore, talent-based, MA reform, you just paid for our reconciliation bill and put some more money in the bank. And my point is just, if we would actually think about policy, the modernization, doing things better, faster, cheaper. So next week we're going to do I think one of our Democrat colleagues a couple moments ago was attacking some of the, we'll call it the DOGE cuts. Okay. Look, last year, for every dollar we took in tax receipts, we spent $1.39. And then I go home and people say, David, I need you to balance the budget. Great. Tell me what 40+%, because you got to deal with the economic effects of government you want us to cut. And now the fact with just the movements in interest rates this year, it's approaching a couple $1 trillion additional interest over the next 10 years. And look, no one needs another speech from me doing interest rate fragility, but the fact of the matter is the bond market is on the cusp of running this country. Except that's really hard to explain to our voters, and if you're a Democrat, you don't want to explain that because you want to keep handing things out and doing the lie of, we're going to tax rich people. Then you show the chart that's saying, hey, okay, it just takes care of, weeks of borrowing, and that's it for an entire year. And then those of us who run around saying, we're going to just cut waste and fraud. Got to cut waste and fraud. And I'm going to show you some charts. But we need to redefine, redesign, modernize, use technology on how we deliver services. So, all right, let's actually walk through a couple things. So, what's the real reason we're doing the reconciliation budget? It comes down to one thing, at least for me. Our taxes are all going up next year. In my district, it's over a couple $1,000s for an average family. A couple $1,000s. And in some of my zip codes, look, I represent a fairly prosperous district. I represent Scottsdale and Phoenix. It's over $3,000. But for my average, it's $2,062 tax increase next year. Okay. So I've been really happy to hear how many of my brothers and sisters on the other side have gotten behind the microphone and talked about how they don't want, small businesses in my district will be hit with a 43% tax hike. And that's the law. That's already coming. And so they're going to give us ideas of how we keep this from happening. Now, the problem here, if you think like an economist, is this is sort of maintaining today's policy instead of what's in the law where everyone's taxes go up. Great. It maintains consumption, but you don't get the same type of economic pop of doing things that create investments in productivity and those things. But this is your reason that we have to battle through this. And the absurdity, the absolute absurdity I get from some of our brothers and sisters out there, you can't cut. This is just heresy. It's brutal. We're baseline going to spend $68 trillion over the next 10 years. $68 trillion. Well, we're talking about reducing, and looks like we're not going to hit the number, which will enrage me. It's $2 trillion. So you see the stack of coins there? That's $68 trillion over the next 10 years. That was baseline spending. All we're talking about cutting is functionally 2.2, 2.3% of it. And think of the rage. Think of the theater. Think of the protests. Think of the nasty text messages. You do realize just a couple ticks in interest. I think if I can almost do the speed math in my head. If I had 70, 75 basis points, it's more than all those cuts. If we went back to the interest rates we had in the early 2000s, I think that would add another $3-4 trillion over 10 years of just interest. It's the theater around here is about telling stories. It's emoting emotions. But damn it, does anyone own a calculator? And here's, so what was it, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, Moody's downgraded the United States. And part of the point, because I know we all read it because it was such a big deal, you subscribed to Moody's, you downloaded the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for letting me have a Bloomberg terminal. I chair the Joint Economic Committee, so we bathe in the math. Think of this. In 9 budget years, we're spending 9% of the entire economy is borrowed. And that's based on our baseline. See, said that twice. In 9 years, the borrow will be $3.8 trillion. And Mr. Speaker, most of that growth is interest and health care. So I'm sure we're all around here trying to revolutionize the cost of healthcare by curing people, by using technology, doing it better, faster, cheaper, helping our brothers and sisters live healthier instead of misery with their chronic conditions. But so often the debates behind these microphones are about, we need to spend more money to help you maintain your misery instead of curing it. The complete lack of vision. The complete lack of vision around here of the morality. When you realize, a couple of the great studies from a few years ago is the number one contributor to income inequality in America wasn't education. It was healthcare. It was the health of the populations. What happens when your brothers and sisters have diabetes, when they're crashing repeatedly? Turns out if 33% of all American healthcare is just diabetes, if 47% of all American healthcare is obesity, why wouldn't we take those on? Yeah, it means doing some very difficult things. It means having a brutal discussion about agricultural policy, nutrition support, how we're going to deliver healthcare through our clinics and other things. But it's really great economics and the morality of having people live longer, be healthier, be able to have families, family formation. We're going to show a couple numbers here. If you have 7 million prime-age males missing from the economy, and one of the data sets says it's not drugs, it's actually obesity and other things. What do we do incentive-wise to help our brothers and sisters, particularly those prime-age males, get back into the economy, participate in society? And in 9 budget years, we go from today, where we borrow $6 billion a day, we're going to be borrowing $10 billion a day. Doesn't that, I mean, why doesn't this just set people up saying, okay, I don't want to raise my brothers and sisters' taxes. We need to do some things to get the economy, continue growing, get investment back in productivity. That's why you do expensing, research and development expensing, other things of that nature, because you need the investments in productivity, because we've got to raise wages. Okay, now we're going to do a little economic geekdom. Remember, after the previous few years where you had high inflation, most of America is poorer today than they were 4 years ago. And that's basically inflation. Your dollars, your salary became worth less. In my district today, if you don't make about 27+% more than you did 4 or 5 years ago, you are poor today. You're not magically going to make the cost of everything in your life go down, particularly in an environment where interest rates are going to be higher because we're borrowing so damn much money. And it's not just us. The Japanese are back in the debt markets. Germany's back in the debt markets. The world is binging on debt. If you think interest rates are going to come crashing back down, you're delusional. The world has only so much savings. So what do we do, Mr. Speaker? Well, you do things that you invest to create productivity, the incentives within the tax code, regulatory code, to invest in things so you can raise wages. Remember, after 2017, one of the data sets we had is, I think it was 68% of all the corporate tax cuts that enraged the left went to workers' wages. Turns out the way you make our brothers and sisters whole from the years of inflation is you gotta get the growth, you gotta get productivity stepped up. And this chart, and please understand, this one upsets both Republicans and Democrats. I've had even people in my own party saying, David, you gotta stop telling people the truth. Even just a little beyond baseline, that if we had no legislation at all, what took us 240 years, we're almost going to double in the next 10. Think of that. The day we were all re-elected or elected, last November, public sold debt. So this is debt that's auctioned off. You know, the Japanese own some, the Chinese own some, but we own most of it. Was around 28 trillion. We will almost double that in the next 10 years. Got to deal with the reality. But if you're going to rage at me because I said the bond market's going to be running your country soon, don't rage at me. Crack open an article about bonds and the stress and bond vigilantes and term premiums and what all these things mean and what happens when just clicks of interest rate consume every available dollar that you and I might want to invest in medical research, or the left wants to do whatever the hell they want to do with, and it's going to be consumed by paying interest. Demographics, which is the primary driver of our debt, is not Democrat or Republican. It's just who we are. We have a shortage of young people. And there's lots of us who are baby boomers. And we're going to continue to lie our backsides off. But if you keep looking at the charts and just understand the 65 population has nearly doubled in 20 years. By the number of 18-year-olds is basically the same. You would think these would be the types of data that we could all get together and say, all right, that's math. It's what we are. It's indisputable. It's math. It's Census Bureau. It's from census data from the Biden administration. So, as a Republican using it, is it partisan? It's just math. How do we keep our promises? As a society, as a country, as a population that used to at least make an attempt to be moral, how do we keep our promises? In, 7 years now, the Social Security Trust Fund is emptied. Basically meaning if the Social Security follows the law, there's going to be, my math a couple of weeks ago was 21% cut in Social Security checks across America. So 2033, it's gone. 2034, first year with the 21% cut, meaning we double senior poverty in America. We're going to double senior poverty in America. How many members have you seen come behind these microphones and talk about the morality of, hey guys, 7 years from now, let's double senior poverty. And then let's do everything we can to talk about it. And oh, by the way, the solution you get all the time, well, just raise the cap. Okay, raise the cap. You do realize just eliminating the cap on Social Security at that time only covers 38% of the shortfall. And the first full year, our math last year we did was $609 or $608 billion. So almost 2/3 of what the entire defense budget is. That's 7 years. We should have been working on this 15, 20 years ago. But the fact that an idiot like me gets behind the microphone and even uses the word, it will be an attack ad next week. Because God forbid, this place cares more about winning the next election than doing what's right, doing what's moral, owning a calculator. It's just, this place is absolutely perverse. And here's another thing, let me enrage my brothers and sisters, because so much of what we're having to deal with in this reconciliation budget, look, I hope the scorekeepers are wrong. I hope the joint tax economists are wrong. I hope the PhDs over at CBO are wrong. But because much of it is extending current tax policy, what we get today, instead of what's in the law, where just individual taxes go up, $3.1 trillion over the next 10 years, and add in then the pass-throughs to small businesses and those things, add in another, several $100 billion. That's the law, it's coming. But just extending that, you don't get a huge pop in growth, but you do maintain consumption. Where you get the growth is some of the other things, the expensing, the research and development, those types of things. A couple of the tweaks we're trying to do in also the incentives to invest. But I wish our brothers and sisters would actually, if you're going to say we're magically going to grow at these sorts of rates, give me a reference, give me a credible economist, maybe a guy, a gal, someone with a PhD in actual economics, because I chair the Joint Economic Committee. I have a handful of PhDs, and this is the numbers they come up with. So, back to solutions. We've introduced a bill. Our first number was $1.76 trillion in savings just reorganizing, redesigning the incentives within Medicare Part A. Excuse me, Medicare Part C. Medicare Part C. Oh, Medicare Advantage, as everyone knows it. Where you're incentivized to keep your brothers and sisters who are on the program. You make money by helping them be healthier instead of scoring them as sicker. Our preliminary number from CBO wasn't $1.706 trillion over 10 years. It turns out they gave us a 1.84 as a preliminary guess. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll get an official score. Is this Republican or Democrat? It's just fixing the waste and the fraud and the misalignment in the program. And look, I fully expect within minutes I'll have attack ads in my home district beating the crap out of me. And I'm in a 50-50 district. Maybe it's occasion a few more of our brothers and sisters here take a risk, particularly those of you in overwhelmingly partisan districts. You can afford to tell the truth. Try it. If an idiot like me in a 50-50 district will get up and tell the truth about the math, why will no one else hear? And you do the charts, and these charts aren't magic and secret. They've been in the MedPAC report for most of the last decade. If someone would just bother to open it up and crack the binder and read it. But you can see the savings and the alignment, and one of the model comes back, seniors on Medicare Advantage will be healthier because the incentive is to keep them healthier. Now, we have to do some designs. We have to say, okay, you should be within one plan for maybe 3 years, so there's an investment in helping you be healthier. There's things we did in there to make it work. And the bill's been introduced. And yet, if you look at the total spend over the next 10 years, still $14.67 trillion is the baseline spending over the next 10 years. We're just trying to deal with what article after article after article has basically said, hey, this is fraud. And if anyone else has their phone in your hand and you want to look up something, look up the number of criminal cases that are open right now. The Wall Street Journal and the Justice Department, I guess, has been leaking. It's no longer civil suits, it's criminal suits, saying people are going to go to jail. Is there ever been a moment where particularly the left and the right could get together and say, hey, we need to fix the incentives in this program. Also, it's great economics, good health care, and it's great vision for the future. Oh, no, David, you see, we care too much more about winning the next election and beating the crap out of the other side. And then you hear some of the brilliant things that are said about Medicaid. Now, I need to disclose, it's been many, many years. As a child, I spent 2 terms in the state legislature, was never going to run for office again. And because I was so tall and smart and good looking, I got to chair, well, had nothing to do with the fact that I was the vice chair and my chairwoman actually had a brain aneurysm, and also they had just indicted 10% of my state legislature. Remember, the fastest way, Mr. Speaker, to move up in an organization is have 10% of the people go to jail. And so I'm a 28-year-old kid in my state legislature, and I'm chairing the health committee. And Arizona does something very unique in our Medicaid system. We were the last state to enter Medicaid. We didn't enter it until the mid-'80s. I actually was a part-time page during the negotiations. But in Arizona, we do something odd. We buy managed care policies. So we functionally buy managed HMO policies for, the technical term is our indigent population. We actually do it really well. We were the first ones to do a pharmaceutical benefit management, those sorts of things. It is an interesting intellectual argument, and I wish we could actually have a little more highbrow discussion here. Should a state like Arizona be rewarded for how efficiently we deliver and the quality our services are compared to so many other states which are just ripped with fraud? Because you start to see cumulative improper Medicaid. This is not Medicare, this is Medicaid. This is supposed to be health care for indigents. That's the law. Payments since 2019, over $400 billion. And if you actually look at the literature, people that have analyzed it, so here's a Paragon study written by PhD. basically says that, hey, the Medicare or Medicaid reported functionally $500 billion over 10 years, but their analysis, when you do all of it, is $1.1 trillion in missed payment, improper payments. So think about that. If you just fix this, if you just fix this one issue, that covers everything that's being discussed right now in trying to reform Medicaid. But this would require work and also reading a hell of a lot of accounting documents. And look, I'm going to run through these boards really quickly because I'm already gone, Mr. Speaker, longer than I want. People forget we actually had a time slot here where functionally we actually sort of stopped some of the measurements and some of the enrollment criteria. But if you look at overall rate of improper Medicaid payments, if you have a multi-trillion-dollar system and it's 5%, turns out that it pretty much pays for what ENC did a couple weeks ago. Are just we willing to invest in the technology to go fix it? And look, remember I was just telling you in a previous life, I actually helped. I was not there during expansion, but I was county treasurer years later where I did manage some of the DisPro share monies. So that's sort of the geeky talk. But this is a chart from the Wall Street Journal. And they just happened to pick out my state. I love Arizona. It truly is. Look, if you get to represent Phoenix and Scottsdale, you're one of the most blessed human beings in life. But the point that the Wall Street Journal was trying to make in putting up this chart is in Arizona, we put $363 million back in the general fund. Because the way they do their provider tax, they're actually making money from the federal government, except this fine august body, we borrow the money. We're borrowing money. A state is doing a provider tax. It covers their match, and then they're sticking money in their general fund from our borrowed money. Why is this good? I'm just going to skip to the last one because we need to tell the truth. Our great financial burden. We're elected. We are functionally the board of directors of the biggest enterprise in the world. The biggest, where we represent a quarter of the world's economy. Does this body act like a board of directors where we pay attention to the math, pay attention to how we take care of our customers, the American citizens, and pay attention to the reality? Social Security, Medicare, and net interest account for 80% of the spending growth over the next 9 budget years. And if you do the 30 years, it's everything. If you do the 30 years, military, non-defense discretionary are scheduled to grow slower than tax receipts. Yet, are we even allowed to talk about these? Are we even allowed to tell the truth about the math? And so, Mr. Speaker, we've been collecting every article we can talking about, and some of these are Republicans, some of these are Democrats, some of these are conservatives, some of these are just academic economists. So here's one talking about the growth of prime-age males in Medicaid. And what was fascinating is this particular study, they spent an average of 6.1 hours per day or 184 hours a month on all socializing, relaxing, and leisure activities. Okay. So you get attacked saying, well, you're asking for work requirements. Understand how many states, my state already has an application in for work requirements. I think we already have work requirements forgive me if I get this wrong, TANF or others, but a number of the states, if you take a look at the chart, they had applications in, the applications were approved, and then the Biden administration took over and something happened where either through court or action here, they started rolling them back. If I come to you right now and say there's 7 million prime-age males missing from the labor force, if I come to you and say, you're talking to me that you want tax receipts to grow, that means you need participation in the economy. If anyone wants to geek out, it's probably about 5 years ago, University of Chicago did an amazing study on what work requirements do in benefit programs. At the end of the decade, the participants are wealthier because they may get the benefit, but the work requirements change their participation in the economy, raise their skill set, and they move up in the economy. In many ways, if you read the academic literature, those who oppose things like work requirements, you've got to read your literature. You're crushing people. You're destroying their economic futures, their ability to learn skill sets, how to participate in the economy. But maybe we have people around here that permanent poverty, that level of cruelty is what's built into their political manifesto. I refuse to believe that. I believe we all want the right things. But page after page of this data is here. And instead, we'll have these trite, feelings-based debates and arguments. And then we'll wonder why tomorrow is no better than it was today. And the day after that will be no better than the next day. There's hope. There's ways to make this work. There's ways to stabilize the debt. There's ways to make this society much more prosperous. Prosperity is moral. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm wondering, are we intellectually capable of actually doing the work? And with that, I yield back.